All right, guys, we're back. Sorry about that. We just had to reset the cams because those guys had to take off. But like I said, we got lots more esports to talk about, and
Actually, so much more.
I know so
There's
much more.
there's a ton to cover.
Exactly. But just to continue your point, Shade, until Too Good just popped on, and in Too Good fashion. Yeah, third in PC bongs right now in Asia is huge.
Yeah,
That
so right now
can
he said
only
it's like League of Legends and then Sudden Attack and then Overwatch.
yeah. So
Yeah.
crazy.
Did you guys watch the Korean event a
Mm.
couple of days
Huge.
ago?
I
It was
didn't.
it it,
I
it
didn't get a
was
chance
like
to see it.
right before the game launched, and the Korean teams still have a ways to go. They don't look like they're on the same level as North America and Europe yet, but we have Widowmaker players like Taimu, Reaver, so on and so forth. I think I saw the best Widow player I've ever seen on one of those Korean teams. It was scary. It was frightening. So yeah, Korea's coming. China is coming.
We also
The
have to
numbers
keep
are
in mind
huge in
too,
both regions.
you have
So
to keep in mind like their beta was a lot smaller than ours. Like the
Yeah,
amount of
it's
people that got
true.
given access to like Asian servers during closed beta was unbelievably small. So, like, this is just starting for them. This is a brand new
Yeah,
thing for them. A lot of
I mean,
people have
just
not got the chance to, like, play it, I'm sure, nearly as much as they want to. I mean, I'm sure if you look at the number of hours played by people in Asian regions in League of Legends,
yeah.
like, they put a ton of time into video games.
Well, no
An absurd
question.
amount of time.
I mean, no question. And obviously, League of Legends being the number one. There's a reason why so many Asian teams do so well, right? In
Hmm.
LCS as well as like Dota also. But yeah, the thing about for just shooters though is that we've never actually seen Asian teams competing at super high levels with shooters, just because Counter Strike's not that big over there, right? They have their own shooter that's actually quite big over there. Overwatch being just what it is as an IP, I just feel like it's going to be part of culture there. Just this whole
Well, it
animated
feels
type
so
of
much more like a
series, and
MOBA versus like
yeah,
something like
and
Counter-Strike.
not just
So,
that, just like the whole comics and movies and shorts. Like there's all kinds of character ability there, and there's even a
mhm.
Korean and a Chinese character too. I mean, I think Overwatch will be just a very big thing as a game period, not even competitive. So that's going to lead to just a lot of competitive players being developed there, and we'll finally we'll actually see. I think some of the top teams come from Asia in the near future. Hopefully not too near, but I mean in the near future.
they're coming.
Yeah, they're coming. God, you're like talking
Honestly,
about
I think I think
winter is
the head
coming.
start that NA and EU have, combined with the fact that NA and EU are actually taking this game Korean serious. I mean,
Yeah,
we've talked about this on like every single show for months now. But yeah, I mean, these teams, the top teams in each region, are playing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day. They're playing in that range. So
yeah, but it
it's gonna
needs to.
take
I mean, you saw
it's gonna take
Poro
like
in closed
months and
beta.
months of
Like
grinding.
Yeah, but it's going to
that
be more
guy,
efficient. Like there.
Poro was like 500 level or something like that in closed beta.
Yeah,
Like he played a crap ton of Overwatch.
it's like 12 hours a day, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and like so to your your comment about that, Ben, like them taking it Korean serious. I mean, I think the amount of time people are putting into Overwatch is probably Korean serious, but I think the Koreans and just the Asian teams they have a little bit more structure to their practice. I think more than some of the players that are probably just getting into Overwatch. At least some of them, not all of them. I think some people are actually having some very efficient practices, but that might be a difference just because the whole team houses and all that stuff. I mean, that we've talked about this like many times in StarCraft, just starting in StarCraft, and just the whole team house and how the practices are run there. It just seems to be a little bit more efficient than what we've seen in the past. We're starting to see it now with other games, but not yet with Overwatch. Like we're starting to see the players finally, like seeing some houses, I think we saw like the team Envious at least, pad and Nvidia's obviously has the C9 guys over there now, right? Just at least for this week. But until we start seeing guys actually in team houses playing together, like being in the same place all together, I think that the Koreans or not Koreans or just any of the Asians, I think might have a little bit of an edge practice wise.
It's a legit threat.
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
just
legit
hoping
threat.
that
Yeah.
the work ethic we've seen will carry through in NA and EU. Anyway,
Yeah.
we only have
Yeah,
35
let's
more
go.
minutes, actually, and
Yeah,
there's
let's go.
actually so much more to talk about.
All right.
Uh,
Why don't you lead us through this?
Sure. I created a new section here for new teams that have arrived on the scene. Literally, just in the last couple of days, some of them announced right before Overwatch came back. Some of them really just played for the very first time in this Alienware Melee Cup, monthly Melee, which we're going to talk about right after this. But there are a couple of notable ones that were on my radar. Apparently, there was a couple that weren't on my radar that are going to the TakeTV land. So there's even more than what I wrote down here. But I think a lot of people will be happy to know that the remnants of Hubris are still playing. Yeah. So there's a team called Nubris, or I guess I should say the remnants of the old Envious roster. I don't know, whatever you want to say. But basically, it's CoolMat69, Stoop, Minstrel, and Buds, who were all on the previous Envious roster, also playing with ID, the Quake player, who used to be playing on Team Liquid for a little while, and then Custa, who used to be playing with like Nicholas TK or TJKO or whatever that team. I forgot what their name was. Code 7, yeah.
Code 7.
He used to be on the Code 7 team. So this is actually looking to me like a really well-rounded roster. Obviously, you've got CoolMat and ID, who are really excellent DPS players. Buds as well, quite good. And then Minstrel and Custa, who kind of have their own niches as support, and Stoop, of course, who's running tank. So that team is already looking pretty damn good in the Alienware monthly melee this week. Any thoughts, guys?
I mean, I think they already had They already had some decent results, right? I mean, it just once they formed. So
yeah.
I mean, I think they're already looking good. Shayed, you were gonna say something?
The roster, I love that team. The roster seems really strong, and
it's just good because
yesterday they played really well. So
it's good for NA to have another team of this caliber. And there's a couple more that have been forming as well, which I'll talk about next. The next team. So Northern Gaming is this brand new esports organization which splashed onto the scene last week. And it's
started by
I don't really know the exact situation, but this Twitch streamer Soda Poppin', I think he's like one of the founders or co-founders, or at least on the business team for this new esports organization. And surprisingly enough, the first teams that they pick up are all Overwatch. I think they picked up a WoW team as well. But they're not going after Counter-Strike. They're not going after Smash, Street Fighter, whatever. They're actually going after Overwatch first. And they've picked up 2 teams in a week. So they've got both NG Red and NG Blue. NG Red is Chance's team. This team has been around since like early phases of the beta, but in various different iterations. But it's Chance, Megachu, Naptime, Wolf, Exion, and Bread Expert. And actually, they played quite well as well yesterday in the Alienware, or actually 2 days ago and yesterday in the Alienware Cup. Then we've got NG Blue, which is the former Gringos team. So they're going to be over at TakeTV's tournament this weekend. So that's Shayed, Zaf, MKL, Nutty B, Yura, and Lidano. A bunch of Swedes. Total. I thought it was
sure
Shades.
it's not
I might have got that wrong. I think
I would have been like, oh, Shades.
But anyway, it's a team entirely from Sweden. So good old Swedish boys.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to call out one more that may not be on everyone's radar right now. OW King. They got sponsored by a new website, OW King. I assume it's probably LOL King, same kind of thing.
Yeah.
But this is a team that is pretty cool in my book because they have a really strong background in the enemy territory and RTCW scenes. And I know a lot of these guys because they all played Dirty Bomb as well. So Micker, I don't actually know Quad, but Editonian, Oxy, oops, I spelled that wrong. Olba and Pixel Twitch were all super big Dirty Bomb players and previously enemy territory players as well. So this team also looking pretty good.
Okay.
And all 4 of these played, in the cup, on the Alienware Cup. So,
which leads us to the Alienware monthly melee that happened or that concluded yesterday. Definitely a great tournament. I mean, it's definitely kudos to everybody that was involved in running it. They tried out a new scoring system, Which why don't we just lead off with that, and then we'll talk about the results. What'd you think of the scoring system? Because for those of you that didn't watch, what they did is they had a point system that had it wasn't stopwatch, but it did have to do with when you how much time you had left when you completed just a stage. And it was something like if you completed with 8 minutes or more, you got 5 points. If it was 5 minutes or more, you got 3 points, I believe, or 2 points. And then it kind of went like that anyways. Like, so, and they would play X number of rounds. I think it was 3 rounds of
it was
attack
best
defense.
of threes until the finals, which was best of 5.
Yeah, best of 5 at the end. And then, they would just tally up the points at the end to see who would win. Definitely an interesting way of kind of doing some kind of hybrid between, hybrid and just a scoring system. What'd you guys think?
It literally made everything that Blizzard said worse. Like, Blizzard said, we don't want to run stopwatch because it's too confusing for the average spectator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
okay, I
kind
know
of-
what you mean. Okay, sure. Okay.
Like, okay, this is basically, I kind of hope there was like a secret plan in, I think it was ZPs that made this kind of like scoring or whatever system. Like, I seriously hope that his like secret plan to this was, let's make something beyond confusing for spectators.
Gosh.
And then Blizzard will see how easy stopwatch is to understand.
Well, okay,
You're not
so
far off, Shayed. You're not far off.
you're not far.
Like, if we want to talk about how hard it is to spectate Overwatch, like, hello? That was the most confusing thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Let's give gold medals and silver medals and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
no.
All right, Ben, what do you think? I mean, would you think it was as confusing as Shayed?
That aside, I will commend them for trying new things.
Yeah.
Everyone just used stopwatch in the closed beta, and now everyone's like, why didn't we try some other things? I mean, we didn't try anything else because everyone kind of thought stopwatch was going to be it. But people are kind of kicking themselves. At least some of the players are like, man, we should have been trying other things. So honestly, I will commend ZP for trying something new because Blizzard hasn't figured it out yet. So we should just keep doing stuff until we figure out what's best. Even if that ends up being stopwatch, at least now we know that this rule set is confusing. So
well,
I do think that was a lot of CP's intention with choosing it, was just like, let's try something new and just see how it goes. And if it doesn't go that well, that's more ammo for stopwatch.
Yeah.
So.
I'm kind of in between you guys. I actually think that it was a little bit confusing just as you were watching. Like, if you literally tuned in halfway, you're just kind of like, what are those 2 points? Like, does that mean that the series is 2-0? Or, I mean, what's going on here? You know, the kind of thing.
It made no sense.
Yeah, well, like, I think that was partially to do with, the production. The production should have, like, been constantly explaining the,
in between games, there should have been an infographic showing
totally.
what the scoring system was.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it required that for you to pull it off. The scoring system itself, I don't think was that bad, honestly. Like, I think it was an interesting attempt at trying to come up with something that has time related. It's not as granular, from a fairness standpoint as stopwatch, but it was an interesting attempt at it. And like Ben said, I definitely kudos for them trying new stuff, and I think people should continue to do it because who knows? There's still very possible. It's very, very possible that there's still a scoring system out there that is better than stopwatch. We just haven't found it yet. And I think doing more and more of these, there might be some hybrids of even those ideas that people end up figuring out. But the production has to execute it right. Like, you have to execute these ideas right, because I don't even think we walked away from that event knowing if that scoring system was very, just great for viewers in the, the best case or the best way presented. So, just
I don't think we'll be seeing it again.
Well, I don't think we'll be seeing it again just because of the feedback.
I mean, I know for a fact that, like,
go ahead.
My team does not want to participate in another tournament that includes that scoring system.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, the better team's still gonna win. It's not that bad.
No.
But...
I'm not saying that had anything to do with it at all. Actually, it's not what I meant at all. It's just the actual scoring system was not enjoyed by players.
Yeah, I understand.
So they don't want to have to deal with that ever again. But yeah, no, I didn't mean anything to do with like winning or losing. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't trying to say that, but Uh,
All right.
no, it's
Moving
all
on.
gravy.
Yeah, moving on. Let's talk
Let's
about
talk about the
results.
results.
Yeah, let's talk about results. Some great matches.
So,
Well, oh, yeah, why don't you lead?
yeah, maybe we can even just pop open those brackets
Yeah, sure.
on stream or
Yeah.
the bracket. But number one thing about this tournament was 64 teams. They capped it at 64. It would have kept growing and growing and growing if they didn't cap it. It actually filled up 64 teams in, if I remember correctly, it was about 3 or 4 hours. That's all it took for
Yeah.
64 teams to sign up for this thing, which is incredibly impressive. And we're actually going to get to this a little bit later, but we're seeing an even bigger bracket come up tomorrow. But that's really awesome. And this was the most stacked tournament we've seen so far in Overwatch.
Yep.
There was only really one extremely notable missing team, and that was Rogue.
Yeah.
We didn't have Rogue in this tournament, but basically every other team that has proven themselves to be a top tier competitor was playing here, which is really, really cool. We really got to, for basically the first time, we got to see the brand new Envious roster really, really succeed. But anyway, I've gotten a little ahead of myself. Just talking about the results, Cloud9 clinched another victory, solidifying themselves as the number one team in the scene. You can't really argue it right now. I mean, you could say like Rogue or Envy is just an inch behind them right now, or maybe they're on the same level, but they haven't been able to prove it yet. Cloud9 just keeps on winning. So right now, they've really clinched their position as the team to beat in the scene. In number two, we saw Envious. So this team played extremely well. They played so incredibly well. And I'm so kind of relieved to see this because, they're making such a huge commitment. They're moving out to North America. Like a bunch of Euros are in North America right now, just making a huge gamble. So I was really glad to see them play ridiculously well. But also was a little bit surprised. I can't believe that they beat Reunited. Reunited and Cloud9 have had some really close games, but Envy almost
handled them
defeated.
easy.
Yeah, they kind of manhandled Reunited actually in the end, and you could say that that's because it was 7 or 8 in the morning, something like that, by the time they were playing. But both teams should have had a decent disadvantage there with that. And then LG takes fourth place. Played very well. I got a chance to watch LG versus SG1. I didn't get to watch like everything, but like LG just completely smashed like a mid-tier European team, which was cool to see. And then in fifth and sixth, we had Gale Force, which is a pretty new team, and then Creation. So yeah, those were like the top six. I don't know. What did you guys get a chance to watch, and what did you think of the tournament overall?
Well, for me, I definitely watched I think I watched part of the quarters and then all the semis and finals. Overall, I mean, I thought the just the overall quality just of the play was actually quite good. I mean, I thought the meta seemed pretty stabilized for all teams. A lot of people playing similar comps. For the most part, on a lot of the maps, but overall, I mean, yeah, I mean, I kind of felt like this is what Overwatch is going to start feeling like, I mean, like a lot of the spectator was on Widows or just, a lot of the sniping and that kind of thing, and it kind of felt like CS:GO a little bit when I was watching it at times, and I don't know, overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty hype. I mean, I thought overall just the best teams made it through, and like we kind of saw the natural ranking happen actually with all the teams for the most part in the top 4 at least. But yeah, that's my take. I don't know, Shayed, what'd you think?
I thought it was really hyped to watch for sure, because it was nice to see all of these new teams popping up and new players and new names that you didn't recognize, and then kind of the old faithfuls coming through in the end. I think that was kind of expected. The game hasn't been out for like a week yet, so I think once more players get practice time and learn the game and kind of the competitive aspects of it, I think we'll start to see some of those new teams and new players show up a little bit more, like closer to the end of the bracket. But yeah, I think kind of overall it ended or went the way that was kind of expected once you saw the bracket. So.
Yeah. And given, honestly, just even from a spec standpoint, given all the, just Winstons being played and everything, it wasn't so bad, actually. I thought spectating, obviously still needs some work, but, I think overall it's getting a little bit better, just even from a standpoint of a single spectator.
Yeah, definitely. And in terms of meta, we did still see a lot of double Winston, but it seems like I don't know, people are like, man, so much Widow too.
Yeah,
Like Widow has
exactly.
just
It's
been
just
more and more and more and more played over the last series of tournaments, and we saw just almost on attack and defense, almost on every map, players were picking Widow, which was pretty
McCree or
interesting to
Widow,
see as well.
basically, yeah.
McCree continues to be the #1 pick. A lot of teams running double McCree as well.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, the games were incredibly fun and exciting to watch. I especially loved the grand finals.
Yeah. Great play there.
Overwatch at all kinds of levels can be pretty entertaining. The synergy of the different heroes, the ultimates, big ults can always be really fun. But oh my god, I was like literally losing my shit just sitting here at this desk last night, just with my eyes glued to the screen, watching some of those Sure 4 players. Oh my god, his Genji is just unreal. And accusations don't even come into the picture.
I know,
because it wasn't his aim that was so sick; it was his movement and when he used his reflect, that was the sick part. And the sword, it wasn't hit scan aim. So I mean, hit scan or hacks or not, the amazing stuff we saw last night had nothing to do with like hit scan aim. So.
That was great.
Just incredible
I mean, the
play.
finals, like you said, I mean, it was like, the Temu Reaver kind of matchup was great. Adam was playing great on Mercy too. I mean, it was a lot of good play in the finals, actually.
Probably one of the most entertaining sets I've watched so far in Overwatch.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's still pretty. That one
liked,
United was so good. But yeah.
I kind of liked the one hero limit on only Koth, because I think the double Winston meta is only really, really relevant in Koth situations. I mean, we don't usually see double Winston anymore on payload. Like, we saw it a lot when the Winston bubble was super strong and when the Symmetra was happening and kind of all that stuff. But I don't think I really see double Winston on anything except for Koth. So seeing that one hero limit on only Koth was really nice.
Yeah.
And no capture point.
We saw
Yes, that was also nice. No capture point maps available. I think there was double Winston.
No, we saw
Gibraltar.
We saw it on
C9
Hollywood,
definitely still likes to use it on Gibraltar and Hollywood too, especially in that second phase.
C9 likes double Winston just in general.
Yeah, they play it all the time. Yeah. So I mean, they usually switch. They'll play like first, just like first capture point. If it's a capture point payload, they'll play it for like half the game and then they'll switch up, type of thing. But they play it all the time, payload or not. Yeah.
I think some things that kind of stood out to me. Nubris did take a win over Team Liquid. And frankly, Team Liquid continues to just swap up their roster. Every couple of weeks, they have one or two new people playing for them. So it doesn't seem like they've been able to really hit their groove at all yet. But obviously Nubris is strong. I don't want to take anything away from them. Another thing that occurs to me is Creation Esports seems to be kind of on a little bit of a downswing. They lost to LG again here and went out a little bit earlier than, frankly, I would have expected. If you went back 2-3 months ago, they really were they were the #2 team in Europe for a while, and now it's very questionable. Rogue, it definitely seems like Rogue has dethroned them. Rogue and Reunited as like #1 and 2. Envious now. I don't know. Are they North American? Are they European? 5 of their players are European, so I'm still calling them European. So now they're they're probably like 4th at best in Europe. And now the talk of Mendo's new team. So yeah, Creation. I love those guys. I know a lot of them from Dirty Bomb, but they haven't been doing as well as I would have expected. I guess at this point.
Okay. Why don't we move on? We still got like a couple events to talk about, especially the one that you're going to be casting at, and obviously LG competing at too. No. Actually, LG's not at that one. Okay, so why don't we talk? Are we talking about ESL next? Let's see. The tournament here. Did you want to talk about the ESL event or no?
Yeah. I mean, I just wanted to mention.
Sure.
I decided to put together a Google Doc with all the tournaments going on.
You may show it?
By the way, should show that.
Okay.
It's public, so totally cool to show that. Collaborating with a couple of the guys on the competitive Overwatch subreddit. We're putting this thing together. And I just wanted to show this to you guys, just to show the sheer volume of tournaments that's happening in the first week.
This is literally
it's kind
nuts.
of nuts. I mean, most of these are no prize pool. Obviously, all of these except for a handful are online, but it's actually still crazy. And specifically, I want to point your guys' attention to the ESL Launch Cup in Europe, which is taking place tomorrow, because there are over 200 teams signed up for this tournament already.
Gosh. Wow.
Holy shit.
And they're I mean, this isn't like a cap, right? Like all the teams get to play, correct? Or is there like 128 cap or?
I don't think they're capped. Like I think they would have capped it by now.
That's crazy. You know how long that event's gonna be? That is nuts. Is it best of one?
That is. It's gonna be.
Is it just the best of one?
I
mean, that is gonna be a lot of rounds. Yeah, but anyways, it's great. It's awesome to see all these events. At the same time, this is like what I was saying even back in the beta, just with Goes To and your events kind of happening on the same week. Dude, oversaturation like worries me. Like I saw it happen in other. I saw it happen in StarCraft too. I saw it happen in Hearthstone, and it just worries me that it's just too much. Like we actually need big tournaments to emerge. You know what I mean? There needs to be tiers of events kind of that happen, and people kind of fall into those places, and right now it's not. Right now it's just like a land grab type of feeling, and everybody is trying to make their own events, and the possible effects of that is just, we just start not caring anymore because we see the same teams over and over again, and we saw that in the beta to some degree, and this is just not. I mean, it's never gonna get any better from this point. Like there's just gonna be more and more events, or at least people trying to host events, as long as they get results, right? So I don't know.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But yes, I mean, we've seen oversaturation become somewhat of an issue in StarCraft and Dota. Those are like the two communities where it really impacted tournament organizers, the players, the teams, everybody, the sponsors. And then now I feel like it's happening in Counter-Strike as well. So it's a legitimate concern, but not something we have to really worry about for a while.
Really? I think it can be a problem like really quickly. I don't know, Shayed, what do you think?
Maybe.
I mean, obviously you're managing a team, so.
I mean, the biggest problem right now is you don't want to ever see there be too much tournaments and not enough just actual practice for teams. Like playing in tournaments is great, but it doesn't it's not the same thing as being able to scrim. It's like good practice, but there's a difference between like scrimming and playing like the same map like 5 games in a row and being able to work on strats and kind of all of that, and then having to play in a tournament every single day, or like a tournament that lasts 2 days out of the week or 3 days out of the week. Like it takes a toll. It's a problem.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously it doesn't force people to play in the tournaments, but at the same time, like if a couple teams are playing, then those are no longer eligible for scrim partners. So it's like if you do want to play those teams, then you kind of have to play them in tournaments. So
okay.
I don't know. I think just need to be careful with the amount of tournaments that we have that are at least online. Like LAN events are a bit different, obviously, but.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
All right.
Again, something we gotta look at.
Shayed needs to bounce out of here
Exactly.
in just a second. I want to wrap one thing up really quickly for you guys. We have an exclusive bit of info for you. The brackets and the signups for the Agents Rising tournament, which I'll be casting this weekend, have been released. So I'm going to post those for you in chat. It's a group stage tournament, so unfortunately, there's no real good way to look at all the groups at once with Battlefy. If anyone from Battlefy is listening, we need a way to look at all the groups at once, please. But you can at least look at the teams. Obviously, they announced that the top 4 4 invited teams. So that's Cloud9, that's Gale Force Esports, Clutch, and Team Liquid. All 4 fairly strong, although I'm not sure anyone's going to be able to compete with Cloud9 out of this list.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I've had access to these brackets for a little while. There's a couple other teams that I definitely want to point your guys' attention to. Most notably, we've got Still Here, which is a team comprised of literal legends from Quake. 04, Rafa.
Yes,
just those 2.
The biggest.
They were literally
names.
gods of Quake in their own eras. Clock, Elemental, Metaphor, Learjets. These guys play a ton. When I actually queue and just play solo queue or play with groups, I actually end up playing against these guys all the time. They've been playing a ton. So I'm not sure how well they're going to be able to do against the teams the invited teams, but I'm just excited to see them. I think that's going to be really, really cool. And you can go and just click through some of these teams, take a look at some of the rosters. Another one that's to look out for is Vigilante Season. I don't recognize a whole bunch of these players, but Banny is on the team, and he's kind of one of the more legendary TF2 players throughout any era of TF2.
That was honestly shocking.
Yeah, Banny's
See
playing.
Banny like,
Banny,
oh yeah,
exactly.
I'm gonna go to an event and.
That's cool, man. That's really
Overwatch.
cool.
I'm just running through these to see if I can find any other teams that you should look out for in particular. Winky Face is a cool one. It's got Dyrus. Literally.
No, oh, really?
Dyrus.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Dyrus is entering in a team and playing. And you guys can check this out with the link I posted in chat.
Is it
for
the
a team.
actual
Winky Face.
Dyrus? Because there's two Dyruses.
It is.
It's the actual
so,
Dyrus.
Okay.
So I've been told it's the actual Dyrus. I guess I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
Because there's an imposter Dyrus that says that he's Dyrus, but he's not actually Dyrus, and then there's the real Dyrus.
Is the imposter
see.
Dyrus really good too? He's super good too.
I don't know.
No. Okay. All right. I like
That
the Conor.
pretty much
I like the Conor
rounds it
McGregor
out.
team. Okay, well, definitely check that out, guys. And this is the the North American big LAN that's going to be happening this weekend, and Ben's going to be casting at it, as well as I think it's Joshy. Who are the rest of
We've
them?
got we've got Jamerson, who
Jamerson, that's
is
right. And
one of the guys that actually works for the esports arena where the event is going to be taking
T-Squared.
place.
Yeah.
We've got T-Squared, who
Yeah.
is a legendary Halo pro in his own right.
Yes.
And then we've actually got a last-minute addition
Oh, who?
to the casting lineup. We're going to have Huck.
Oh, all right, cool.
Huck is going to join us.
Huck's going to be casting.
Uh,
All right, good deal. StarCraft. The StarCraft, obviously a very, very notable StarCraft player for EG, or, and TL in the past, if those that never followed StarCraft 2. Really, really cool. We're starting to see more of these guys from StarCraft 2 coming over, trying to do some Overwatch stuff. So definitely great to see that.
It's been literally the most adorable thing I have ever seen in my entire life, watching Tom try and learn Overwatch. Like,
Tom?
Has he been streaming or something?
T-Squared.
Oh,
he's
T-Squared.
been
Yeah,
streaming
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Oh,
He messaged me the other day on Skype, and he was like, I was trying to play with a controller, but you will never be good at Overwatch if you play with a controller.
yeah.
He's like, I've come to this realization. There's way too much movement in this game. You
Yeah.
cannot play with a controller.
Oh man, I can't even imagine playing with the controller. That'd be a
Yeah.
terrible.
It's got
experience.
plenty of auto aim, so it's actually not that bad.
Yeah, I heard Tracer for sure.
Well, the auto aim is on the Xbox, though. It's not on. He was trying to play with with a controller on his PC.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, don't do that.
Okay, that's
Do not.
terrible.
Do not.
It was hilarious.
That's really bad.
Oh.
Yeah.
One last team that I just stumbled across, Gamer Sensei. It's actually got LG's Esper on it. So Esper playing
So
for
Esper is
a
gonna be
pickup
playing.
team.
All
It's
right.
actually got a bunch of streamers as well. It's got Rafflegator and Pokelols, as
Okay.
well as some other names that I recognize. Meet Me, Pipe, B Dropped. So yeah, that team should actually be pretty good.
That'd be
Yeah,
interesting.
we were
That'd
unable
be
to
fun.
make it to the event, so Esper asked if he could play with the pickup team, and we were like, of course,
Cool. Sounds
go
good.
play, have fun.
All right. Well, let's wrap up. It's been a good show. I mean, it's been 2 weeks since we've had a show, so it's great to be back. We'll be continuing every week with you guys, of course. Continuing to talk about obviously the competitive space. We always focus on that here on the overview. And why don't we do some shout outs before we go? Shayed, you want to start?
Yeah, hi stream, love you guys. Shayed _ on Twitch is my stream. I stream every day, and super fun. And Shayed OW is my Twitter. And thank you, Fishstix and ChanManV. I love doing this with you guys every week. It's like one of the highlights of my week. Super fun. I love talking about everything Overwatch with you guys. So, yeah,
Awesome.
pretty much it for me.
All right, Fishstix, how about you?
Tons of stuff to watch this weekend. Catch up on the Alienware VODs if you haven't seen them already.
Yes.
Like the grand finals was so sick. So definitely watch the grand finals if you watch anything there. But yeah, both the TakeTV LAN in Europe for $5,000. Watch that at TakeTV_Overwatch, twitch.tv/TakeTV_Overwatch. And then also the Agents Rising LAN, sponsored by Dolby. I'm going to be casting this weekend alongside some other of my friends and colleagues in the esports space. And it's for $10,000. It's going to be pretty sick. The first week that the game's out, we have 2 LANs and like a 200-person tournament, a 64-person tournament. Yeah, it's just going crazy.
Potential show match between the top teams.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe.
Get a convergence of the weekend where
that would be awesome. So watch those. And on a final note, I just want to say, you should definitely go watch the interview with the Cloud9 team after the grand finals last night as well. There are some very
What?
Hello?
Oh, there's some very interesting details, or there's a very interesting part, at least with Shayed there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
I think
you broke up a little bit.
I think you froze there for a second.
He's breaking up with us.
So there's
I guess my internet is dying.
Yeah, there's a very interesting part in the interview. I guess you were saying.
The whole thing's interesting. Honestly, they talk about their opinions on Stopwatch. They talk about the rest of the teams in the scene, and they also directly address the Surefour accusation thing, which I really hope that people watch this and see this, because Reddit has basically assumed that Surefour is definitely a cheater, and every single post about him, or every single time he's brought up, everyone just calls him a cheater, and constantly in Twitch chat during the tournament, people are calling him a cheater, and that's not cool, guys. Go watch this interview, listen to what he has to say, and we'll see him this weekend at LAN.
If we see him at LAN, if they win at a LAN, guys, can we just be done with this? Because it's
at least until there's
actual
proof, because none of the things so far have been proof.
Well, if they're at a LAN and he's still playing the same way he's playing, and people are sitting there looking at his equipment and everything, then I mean, come on. LANs are always where this gets this gets proven or disproven or whatever. If people go to LANs and they prove themselves, then subject should be over. So
and to everyone that's getting ready to type, oh, but you can still cheat on LAN. By the way, the esports arena guys have let me know that they will have folks behind each team watching closely. So even if there is cheating, they're going to do their best to spot it out. So.
Okay, and I'll close things with thanking you guys, of course, Shayed and Fishstix doing this with me. It's always great talking about Overwatch, and especially competitive Overwatch, because we just love it so much. And for those of you that have been tuning in today, thanks for tuning in and just joining us. Just those of you that followed it since the beginning, thanks for following us every week. We have an audio podcast, too, that you can check out on iTunes and Google Podcast. Google Podcast. You can find that here. Maybe share that with your friends too. If you like it, please leave a 5-star review there. It really helps out other people who are interested in Overwatch finding the podcast too. And we'll be back on the regular day. So next week, just Tuesday, 4 p.m. This week was special because launch day was on Tuesday, and we kind of wanted to play Overwatch on launch day, so that's kind of why it got delayed a little bit. A lot of stuff going on launch day. So back to the normal schedule next week. And until then, we'll see you next week. So for Shayed and Fishstix and ChanManV, we out. Later.
Bye.